What does it mean to tank a season? I've been seeing a lot of clickbait out there in regards to our beloved Arizona Cardinals purposefully tanking. Let's talk about it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Kelly Singh.
Murray heaves it downfield. It's caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins. Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
The sickest Arizona Cardinals podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome to the sickest Arizona Cardinals podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Singh. You can find me on X, Twitter, at Kelly in Phoenix, and you can find the pod at Sick Pod Kelly. Today, we're going to talk about tanking. Did the Cardinals tank? I personally don't think that's what's happening, but we'll get into it. Namely, the biggest move that happened on our 53-man roster was the cut of veteran quarterback Colt McCoy. That seemed to signal a whole new wave of people thinking the Cardinals are purposefully tanking the season. Let's talk about that more in depth. But first, where have we landed on this 53-man roster? Let's take a look. As mentioned, one of the most interesting changes to the roster was the release of Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy has done a fabulous job as a veteran backup for the Cardinals over the years. There is no doubt about it. However, he is a veteran. We are now in rebuild mode, so it makes sense that Colt McCoy was let go. Personally, I feel like they're now making time for Clayton Tune to get acclimated to the team, to really get some reps in. And for me, as a fanalist on the sideline, I see the addition of Joshua Dobbs, that safety net needed for rookie Clayton Tune. We still have Kyler Murray. Don't forget about him. So let's get back to tanking. Why did the release of Colt McCoy trigger so many people to start throwing out the word tanking? I decided to pose a few questions out there on Twitter, X, and see if people really knew what they wanted to express by saying tanking. Question 1. Is a team tanking because they chose to release a QB who isn't performing as well as their other options? Question 2. Is a team who isn't favored to finish well anyway tanking? Question 3. Is a team who already has 6 first-round picks in the first 3 rounds tanking? I chose to ask these very pointed questions to see if people really understood what it was that they were spreading all around the internet. And I think it's slanderous, but that's just me. But what I found was when I asked these very pointed questions was I got very few responses. And I feel like that is because these questions make sense. Every team is going to trim a roster, including a QB, who just isn't in line with where the team is headed. Maybe it's performance, maybe it's age, maybe it's price of contract. Whatever those reasons are, teams make cuts every day. And just because the Cardinals cut Colt McCoy doesn't mean they are tanking. The other question I asked, a team who isn't favored to finish well. The Cardinals, we know, are not out to be a championship team this year. In fact, they probably will still finish last in the league, which is why I asked this question. Why tank if you are likely going to receive that first round pick anyway? The other question, the third question about picks, kind of falls in line with that. I actually phrased that wrong now that I'm reading it. They already have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds. So do they need to tank? One person replied yes, so they can get the top pick. Okay, that goes back to question number 2. If a team isn't favored to finish well anyway, doesn't matter. They're probably going to get the first pick anyway. So yeah, I wasn't surprised at the lack of response, but I was pleased with a handful of responses that I did get back that did create some discussion. So what I think it all comes down to as I go through these replies is people use the word tanking, at least on social media, because that's the narrative. That is the buzzword. That's what gets people clicking. If you've paid any attention to any of the online drama, Pro Football Talk has just been hammering the Cardinals, and it's clickbait, straight up clickbait, even made up lies like Gannon leaving at the end of the season was something they tweeted out. I mean, I couldn't let this pass without saying something else. So I'll share their snarky tweet with you. My reply was, you're not pointing out anything of merit. Releasing Colt McCoy didn't signal tanking. He wasn't up to snuff. That was it. I've got endless video from camp showing it. Also, why tank when they're in a great position for picks already? And Gannon leaving, that's made up clickbait. Period. So yeah, at the end of the day, what we have learned is that it's fun and it's hip and it's cool to call out a team for tanking. But really, at the end of the day, what does it matter? They're rebuilding. They are rebuilding. Colt McCoy wasn't a good fit. They have a young team of young players they're going to play and give reps to this year. That's another thing that I've seen equals tanking, apparently, giving reps to your younger rookies. To me, that's smart. If we already know this isn't going to be our most competitive season yet, why wouldn't we put in players that need to get the reps in? Think of all the experience they're going to gain. You guys are driving me to drink some days. I've said enough about tanking. I just wanted to get this out, and while I have a platform to do it, I wanted to share, just get it off my chest. That's about it, really. We got to talk about the new roster, where the team kind of stands as we head into the season. I got to rant about tanking. It was great. And all under 15 minutes. You can't ask for much more than that. Beginning next week, following the first official regular season game, we will be giving you 2 episodes a week. Not just my rantings and observations as a fan, but guests and very special guests. So you won't want to miss out. Subscribe. Follow us on X, Twitter, at Kelly and Phoenix, and the pod at SickPodKelly. See you next time. Bye.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Kelly Singh on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.